Hi, okay, so this week I decided to do my video response over the story Why I Live at the PO, and I will be answering the question, does the humor in the story soften or increase the tension among the members of the family? Why or why not? So this was a short story about a family living in Mississippi, and the younger daughter, Stella Rondo, had married and moved with, a man named Mr. Whitaker. Whenever they separated, she came back, and the story takes place mainly in their family's home in Mississippi. The story is told from the viewpoint of sister, and it's kind of like in a monologue kind of way. So just with that, I found it humorous because it was saying her thoughts and then saying what she was saying in the story as well. Throughout the story, it was humorous because sometimes she meant to be funny, sometimes she didn't. So even when she didn't, just being dramatic about Stella coming back, and poking at like her family and her sister and the child that she brought back was humorous. In the beginning of the story, you can tell that she's, kind of dramatic and upset about her sister for a really long time. On page 1351, she said, Stella Rondo is exactly 12 months to the day younger than I am, and for that reason she is spoiled. I think throughout the story that she uses this humor to kind of almost mask how she was really feeling. Like, she was very upset that, almost her parents didn't love her as much as her sister or whatever, and she used humor with things like that to kind of cover it up and like just be funny about it, but she really was, upset and hurt by that. Another point in the story, she said Stella Rondo had better thank her lucky stars that it was her instead of me that came trotting in with that very peculiar looking child. Now if it would have been me that trotted in from Illinois and I brought that peculiar looking child of two, I shudder to think of the reception I'd have got, much less controlled the diet of an entire family. This is when she was talking to her mom about the child that Stella brought back, and of course the mom was like, oh no, of course, like we would feel the same way, like we'd be happy, but realistically sister knows that in the back of her head that they wouldn't feel the same way about her and Stella. By the end of the story, well, throughout the story, as well, Stella was kind of taking hits on sister and telling members of the family just stories. Like whenever her dad was sitting there, or granddad was sitting there, she was like, sister wants to know why you haven't cut your beard, and granddad was upset that sister said that, but sister really didn't say that. And so throughout the story you can just kind of tell that there was a lot of tension between the two sisters. By the end of the story, all the family members were mad at sister, whether it was because of her humor or Stella, telling the family members these stories. They were very upset with her, and it makes it unbearable for her to live at her parents' house, and then she decides to move to the post office, so that's why she lives at the PO. I think that the humor in this story kind of put tension on the family, but at the same time it helped sister. But I do believe that it put more tension on the family, especially towards the end, because they kind of were like, why aren't you taking this seriously? Like, why are you just all joking around all the time? Like, we care about you. But realistically, sister knew that they were frustrated with her, and they never really looked at her the same as Stella did. So